Alright trainers, welcome back to a brand new Pokemon Go PvP video. We are headed back to the Open Master League, and today we are spotlighting Groudon, the most powerful ground type Pokemon in Pokemon Go, and it's only going to get more powerful when it does have access to the future Precipice Blades and Primal form. A lot of trainers aren't sold on Groudon. They don't think it's that good. Maybe it's a little bit overrated, too bait dependent. We're going to find out here if it is the top dog in the Master League like it once was, according to the PvPoke rankings. This is an interesting team submitted to us by AdamDHS. I did a video on Tapu Koko previously. You can check that out here. And if you want to watch more battles, we have them coming for you. These battles are really good because they spotlight the power of Groudon. It's not so heavily focused on Tapu Koko. And if you have Groudon and Mewtwo and you're looking for a third Pokemon to fill out this team, I think a Pokemon like Zacian is a great complement. Just put Zacian in the lead. It serves a lot of similar roles as Tapu Koko, especially with Wild Charge. With that being said, let's take a look at these battles. Jumping right into battle number one, Tapu Koko on the field versus Palkia. This is such a solid matchup because we take either neutral Aqua Tail damage or resisted Draco Meteors, and these Dragon Breaths are resisted as well. This Tapu Koko reaching out for the dazzling Gleam against a Palkia lead. If you're enjoying the Tapu Koko battles, I did a whole nother video featuring this team with Tapu Koko. Check out the link right up here. Palkia striking back though, and it's a Fire Blast coming through. That is our one lose condition. Fire Blast was so unexpected. I think Adam was really taken by surprise, as I was. Oh my goodness. We see the Side Strike getting fired off from the Mewtwo here, and this should be enough to put Palkia very low. Excuse me, actually KOs. Coming in with the Lugia now, and this is very uphill because Lugia incredibly bulky. You need 2 Shadow Balls, and you still don't know what that third Pokemon will be in the back. Going for the first Shadow Ball here does some super effective damage. Looking for another Shadow Ball here, reaching for it, double thinking, and then here comes a move from the Lugia. Coming in with the Sky Attack as well. And we do see one Cycle Cut Shadow Ball. Great mechanics by Adam there to not allow any free turns through. Shadow Ball coming through here and does pull away the Protect Shield. And we swap into the Groudon. This is a little bit curious to me because Lugia has a really good matchup here against the Groudon with access to Fire Punch and Earthquake. There's not a whole lot that Groudon can do to beat the Lugia. So we do see the first Fire Punch get fired off here. This is going to be a little bit sad because when you see the damage, it's not that impressive. Lugia, incredibly bulky, but still absorbs these fire punches like no problem. Do you attempt a Mud Shot down here? Actually going for another Fire Punch, wants to deny the Aero Blast. Lugia might have been there. It's a little bit hard to do the counts when the battles are this fast, but I think he was close. In comes the Drill, and now the Groudon is squared up against the opponent. Excadrill knows that one Drill Run is not enough, so tries to build to 2, but Groudon gets to the Earthquake first and sweeps the Excadrill off the field. If you want to build a team similar to this, but you don't have access to a level 50 Tapu Koko, I think Zacian fills most of these roles just about as well. We do see the Groudon lead counter swap into Dialga. Groudon is a very tough lead for Tapu Koko, so I 100% understand the safe switch. Reaching here for the Shadow Ball, only needing to fear that Focus Blast as a one-shot potential. Dialga correctly no shields, but now that it's this low and Mewtwo is up a couple of Cycle Cuts, this could get interesting. First Iron Head comes through, and it is shielded. Excuse me. Do you see the Side Strike getting fired off here by the Mewtwo, and does peel away that first Protect Shield in kind, reaching for another Side Strike, and Mewtwo is so fast, gets to it right here. Taking both of these shields away actually would be very critical, and the opponent does cede that second shield. Mewtwo almost to another move. Oh, the opponent got a bit of cold feet there, thought Mewtwo could get it, and does throw the Iron Head. So losing that energy and shield advantage is very tough for the opponent, and in comes the Groudon to deal some super effective Mud Shots. Do you actually Protect Shield here? Actually switching into the own Groudon, but now Adam's Groudon is so far ahead on energy. This is very tough. Earthquake comes through and going for a charge attack here. Groudon could strike back with another Earthquake of its own, and it's a Fire Punch bait. Great bait by the opponent, reaching up for a charge attack here and actually switching into the Tapu Koko to soak whatever this is, and it's a Fire Punch again from the Groudon. Going for these resisted Volt Switches, not dealing a whole lot of damage, and Earthquake would be pretty devastating here, so let's see what the Groudon decides to do. Another Fire Punch, looking for the super effective Mud Shots. A little bit of latency there in the game, but forcing the throw of the Thunderbolt and leaving Tapu with only 1 HP remaining. Finally KOs Groudon, in comes Melmetal, and now Groudon is poised to sweep. You don't want to let them catch the Earthquake, and Adam knew it. He throws the Mud Shots, KOs the Dialga, in comes the Melmetal, here comes the Earthquake, and Groudon again, just crushing the Steel types. Heading into the next game here, let's see what Adam has in store for us. His opponent is going to lead with Virizion. That is a best buddy Virizion in the Open Master League. Running Quick Attack, it would appear. And I think Tapu does have a favorable situation here, but you definitely want to avoid taking too much damage because, as we've seen, Tapu Koko, not the bulkiest Pokemon. And I just want to reiterate, Stone Edge comes through. I want to reiterate that the Zacian could do very much the same thing. We're going to see the Groudon switch in here to meet the Excadrill. This is Groudon versus Ground, and we just saw the Groudon get the better of the Drill in the earlier game. Building up to the Earthquake, throwing the Fire Punch, but does his opponent value shielding here? Going through with the super effective Fire Punch, does not get the shield, and it looks like it was a CMP tie as well. Now, Groudon's going to escape this matchup with some extra HP if it can secure a Mud Shot down. 3, 4. Oh my goodness. Groudon just consuming the Excadrill with those super effective Mud Shots, going for the Fire Punch here as well. Grass type Virizion does not appreciate that damage. A lot of super effective damage coming through. Another Fire Punch. This one would definitely take the shield if Virizion wants to stay, and it does, but Virizion has a charge move of its own. Could be, close combat, and that's definitely enough to KO the Groudon, instant swapping into the Metagross. Now, positionally, you can kind of do whatever you want here if you're Adam. You come in with the Mewtwo. Metagross with a slower turn cycle than Mewtwo. You can anticipate you can get to probably double Shadow Balls here before Metagross gets to double Meteor Mash, which is a great call, and hopefully the Cycle Cuts deal enough damage to kind of put this within Shadow Ball range. But it's going to be close because Steel and Psychic resist the Psychic, right? So it's going to be a bit tough to get Metagross down low enough to get the KO. We're going to see the second Shadow Ball come through here. Now, how does Adam play at the end game? Switching in the Tapu Koko, switching it in with all that energy. I kind of expected to let the Mewtwo go. Volt Switch down and Dazzling Gleam the Virizion, but here comes Mewtwo trying to close it. It's got to race the Virizion, and it does get there. Despite the the two-leg advantage, Mewtwo is faster here to the Psy Strike. Oh, and Metagross comes back in. A few more Cycle Cuts, and he does get the KO. Wow. You know what that felt like? That felt like in the zombie movie. When you think the zombie is dead, and then it just reaches back at you at the last moment. Metagross making that competitive in the end. We've got 3 more battles to go. This is a shorter video, but I just want to shout out again to AdamDHS for sending in these incredible games. With the level 50 Tapu Koko is so much fun to watch. Now you see the Giratina Origin lead. Guys, I am so excited for Halloween. I want more Giratina candy. I need a level 50. I need a hundo. I need a lot here. Shadow Ball does come through, and he's reaching for the Dazzling Gleam. This will deal a tremendous amount of damage if it lands. And it does. Oh my goodness, the Giratina does hang on. This is very tricky though. You don't have a lot of fast move pressure coming in with the Mewtwo here, taking a lot of super effective Shadow Claws, which is a bit tough, and forced to shield a Shadow Ball as well. Reaching for the Psycho Cut down. 2 more, almost get it, but coming in with the Groudon here after banking a move on the Mewtwo. Interesting play. Coming in with the Zacian here. This is still tough for Zacian because you don't have anything to deal, super effective damage. You can throw Play Rough, you can throw Close Combat. You definitely do not want to throw Wild Charge because it is so heavily resisted. Coming in with a charge attack here, Zacian reaching for Close Combat. Do we see a swap out after that? Actually, no. Going for the double Close Combat, Adam deciding to shield. I love this shield call a lot, but this match could go either way. Final Pokemon is Primarina. Primarina on the field, going straight for the Earthquake here. The Charm Water Fairy type Primarina, switching in the Mewtwo and going for the Psycho Cuts. Charm hurts, but the Paper Cuts are adding up, and Mewtwo does get the KO. That is a tremendous amount of energy here, and coming in with the Psy Strike. Mewtwo striking back now that it has so much energy stored. Zacian takes the first one. Here comes the second one. I would have loved to see a Psycho Cut and then throw, because that Snarl will always come through most of the time. We're going to see another... Oh, Oh, trying to get there to the side strike, but can't get to the third one. Can't make the three-peat. Here comes the wild charge. After the debuff, Groudon has a better time here, but it needs to avoid a close combat and does get to the fire punch here. And after that wild charge debuff, this should be more than enough. KOs the Zacian. All right, everybody, I'm actually curious. Do you think this is the best Groudon team? I think Groudon, Mewtwo complement each other very well. Let me know your favorite Groudon teams in the comments below. We do see the Palkia instant swap into the Zacian, reaching for the Mewtwo here. I do like this play a lot, but the Zacian will deal a lot of meaningful damage. So you have to time your cycle cuts correctly. Going for the Psy Strike here. We never see a first shield, or never see a shield on the first Psy Strike because Zacian can always tank the first one. Going for a charge attack here will be the wild charge. Now you are debuffed. I think Adam's gonna let the second one through, realizing it's wild charge and not play rough. Does deal a lot of damage though, and those snarls are super effective. Cycle cuts adding up and forced to throw here with the Psy Strike. Can't attempt the full Psy Strike down, which is tough. Getting the KO though, down a shield and going for the Psy Strike here. This is brutal because that Dialga almost got the Dragon Breath down, but that damage is meaningful. Damage could be very impactful later. Now we're going to see what he decides to do here. Going to come in with the Groudon. Now that this Dialga is a little bit weaker. Oh, actually switching in the Palkia, going straight for the Tapu Koko after the Earthquake is loaded. Because the Palkia switched out, that probably tells us it's not a Fire Blast Palkia. But the Aqua Tail still doing a surprising amount to this Tapu Koko, not the bulkiest Pokemon in the world. I do love the play there as well to throw 2 Volt Switches for 8 turns versus 3 Dragon Tails for 9. Great clipping there by Adam. We're going to see a shield come up here on the second charge move. Aqua Tail wanting to protect that. Actually going in for another Volt Switch and then the Thunderbolt here as well. This would deal some neutral damage here to the Palkia. And we do see the second shield as well. Now that the shields are down, Groudon might be able to go to town as the Aqua Tail does get fired off here. As a Groudon, do you overfarm against the Palkia? No, actually going straight for the Earthquake. Opponent tried to 5-head switch in the Dialga and fire the Iron Head, but he's not going to allow it. Throws that Earthquake, and now it's all up to Groudon to close this out. Super effective Aqua Tail would sting a lot, and he gets to the Earthquake as well. Groudon so clutch here with the 2-turn mud shots, just outpacing and earthquaking all over the place. This is the last battle of the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave me a like and comment below what you liked about it. We do see the shiny Dialga lead here into the Tapu Koko. This is an interesting matchup. We've seen the Iron Head deal a lot of damage here, but not quite as much because that's, electric subtyping. We're going to see the Iron Head come through here, and it will deal a lot of neutral damage, but Tapu Koko hangs on and is heavily resisting these Dragon Breaths as well. Going straight for the Dazzling Gleam. This is a very aggressive play, and it does go through. Neutral damage there as well because Dialga is just so busted. But going for the Thunderbolt here, trying to finish this off with a 1-2 punch. The Electric Thunderbolt does connect, does get the KO, and that means you can control switch advantage to bullet punches. And here comes the Groudon. This is a Shadow 4270 best buddy Metagross versus the Groudon here, going straight for the Fire Punch. I like this play a lot. Does pull away the Protect Shield, and I think, yes, the shield here is a great call because that Meteor Mash is stab. It's going to deal a lot of damage, and you still don't know what the third Pokemon is. But now, as the Mudshots pile on, you might be able to get to a Fire Punch here and bring this Metagross pretty close because it's super effective damage even though it's non-stab. Gonna hurt a lot. And he does draw the second shield. I love the second shield here by the Groudon as well, knowing that your opponent might be weak to it in the back. And we see this swap into the Palkia going for the Earthquake here. This is a bit of an aggressive play. You could have played this either way, but Earthquake does deal a lot of damage. Coming in with the Mewtwo here, that's 5-6 Dragon Tails. Goes straight for the Psy Strike, not going to allow Palkia to get to anything resembling a Draco Meteor. Does get the KO. In comes a Metagross, and as our friend Home Slice Henry likes to say, they see the writing on the wall and they top left out of that game. I hope you enjoyed this video. Groudon's sweeping potential is incredible. We saw it sweep so many steel types, and Earthquake is nothing to play around with. It's going to be even better once it gets Precipice Blades, and that's not even to talk about the primal form that has got to be on the horizon, maybe, you know, a few years from now. That being said, if you enjoyed this video, I've got more battles, more uploads coming this week, so don't go anywhere. Stay tuned, subscribe, and come back for more. See you then.